Adventure 2. Row, row, row your boat. Nakoa, Nautilus, and Scourge spend the evening on the beach with the shaman Natha and her fellow lizard folk, listening to her stories of growing up on the Isles. But as night falls, the ancient lizard folk breathes her last and is laid to rest by her kin. The three adventurers keep vigil with them throughout the night. Once morning dawns, Natha's body is placed within the shrine. Juri removes the jade egg from the shrine statue, closing the entrance to the cave below, and instructs the party to keep the secret of the egg from those who would abuse the shrine's power. Outside, Tangle signs excitedly to the group about a boat race in the nearby village of Zephyr Wharf. But Juri tells the party that they are not obligated to join them and are welcome to explore the islands at their own pace. However, the party is intrigued by the idea of the boat race and agrees to continue with the lizard folk on their journey south. Arriving at Zephyr Wharf, Zet directs the group to the event organizer, Lucas Fierro. They talk with Lucas and join the race. The group chooses to represent the Steel Ring faction at the suggestion of Nautilus, as the Warforged hopes to gain some standing with the organization for personal reasons. When asked for a name for their group, Scourge comes up with Wayfarers, which the others agree upon. To prepare for the race, Lucas sends the party to Laminaria, the Sea Elf instructor for new teams. She coaches them on the rules and objectives of the race and then sends them off to make their own preparations, but not before pulling Scourge aside and giving the tiefling special instructions on how to outmaneuver the other team during the baton handoff at the halfway point. Nakoa decides to check the water currents before the race to gain some advantage, but leans too far off the dock and falls in. Meanwhile, Nautilus hopes to show the opposing Goblin team who is tougher by challenging their rower to an arm wrestling match, only to bite off more than they can chew as the Warforged takes on all 4 Goblin rowers at once, and loses the match. Scourge looks to the wind for answers and nearly loses hope until he feels a warm ocean breeze that could help direct the party's boat during the race. And finally, Nakoa puts on a display of physical strength for the crowd as he easily lifts his druid companion off the ground numerous times before facing Nautilus in the Warforged's second arm wrestling match and winning. But in spite of all of their work, the party is no better or worse off than they were previously. As the race is about to start, Lucas calls Nakoa aside and hands the bard a red handkerchief, telling him to tie it to the boat for a special objective. In the meantime, a bugbear officer of the Steel Ring by the name of Vice approaches Nautilus, whispering rumors of a smuggling operation in Zephyr Wharf and an ongoing investigation to stop it. They agree to watch for any illegal activity, then return to their companions. Lucas Fierro announces the final race of the day between the Goblin team Boomstick of the Igneous Coalition and the 3 Wayfarers representing the Steel Ring. Nautilus awes the crowd as they leap off the dock and transform into a rowboat in midair. Scourge and Nakoa climb aboard the vessel and the Sea Elf ties the handkerchief to the front of it. Lucas lets out a shout and the race begins. Nakoa puts oars to water long before the Goblins, who still seem shocked by the transforming Warforged, and quickly takes the lead. But the Goblins make up for lost time as they close the distance with the Wayfarers at the next checkpoint. Keeping a close eye on their opponents, Scourge spots the Goblins dropping mines in the water to hinder the party during their return trip to the dock. The 2 boats keep pace through the next checkpoint when the tiefling hears the Goblins yelling about fireworks. Eventually, the Goblin team pulls ahead as they approach the halfway point of the race. The Goblins decide to play it mostly safe at the waypoint, slamming into the anchor platform and grabbing their baton, but the Wayfarers try something more risky. With Nautilus's aid, Nakoa turns the boat sideways as Scourge signals to the anchor, who throws the baton to the second team. The tiefling snatches the baton out of the air as his Sea Elf companion finishes the turn, pulling up next to the Goblins in a neck-and-neck race. The Wayfarers pull ahead once more, but are nearly impeded by the appearance of a curious dolphin next to them. Scourge uses his druidic magic to speak to the animal and drive it away, but it remains close. The group increases their lead past the next checkpoint, but the Goblins are to no good. They launch a firework at the party which narrowly misses them, exploding harmlessly above the water in a shower of blue sparks. The dolphin continues to harass the group, but Nakoa finally gets its attention and sends it after the Goblins. Noticing the minefield ahead, Nakoa plows straight through with Scourge guiding them safely between the sea mines, while the Goblins fall further behind as they skirt around the obstacle. Finally, the finish line is in sight. In a last-ditch effort to win the race, the Goblins pull out a small cauldron filled with black powder and strap it to the back of their boat, quickly trying to ignite it. Nakoa motions to the dolphin once more, gesturing frantically at the Goblins. Just as the black powder is lit, the dolphin bumps the cauldron with its nose, aiming it straight up. A tower of flame explodes out of it with a deafening boom, flipping their boat over and sending it spinning through the air, depositing the little green creatures into the ocean. The Wayfarers make their final push to the finish line, earning themselves a victory. With the race over, the trio climbs back onto the dock where they are greeted with cheers and applause from the crowd. Lucas congratulates them on their win, accepting the baton from Scourge and cryptically thanking Nakoa for his aid during the race. As they continue through the crowd, Vice meets with Nautilus and asks the Warforged if they learned anything during the race. They admit to not having any news for the Bugbear officer, but keep their responses vague around their companions. When Scourge and Nakoa insist on being led into the conversation, Vice pulls them all to the jungle edge and reveals the details regarding the smuggling investigation. Still wanting to earn the trust of the Steel Ring, Nautilus asks for a few more days to find evidence against Lucas Fierro and proof of wrongdoing at Zephyr Wharf. Vice reluctantly agrees but expresses doubt that any evidence will remain for that long. He returns to the dock, ready to depart. The party is once again greeted by their lizard folk friends, who admit to losing them in the crowd after the race. While discussing their victory, Lucas approaches with a smile on his face and a jingling pouch of coins in his hand. He rewards the group with 50 gold pieces, their prize for winning the race. The race organizer departs once more, still holding the baton the team retrieved during the race. But the party notices a rattling sound from inside the stick when Lucas walks away. Realization strikes. Thinking quickly, Nautilus and Nakoa send Scourge to delay Lucas while they catch up to Officer Vice. The Tiefling Druid catches up to the event organizer, fumbling for something to say to keep him from leaving. Meanwhile, Nautilus and Nakoa find Vice boarding a small boat with his subordinate, Constable Dobbs of Sunfish Cove. The pair share their suspicions with the Bugbear and Goblin before all four of them rush back to catch the criminal. Still struggling to find something to say, Scourge eventually compliments Lucas on his pirate costume, including the fake eye patch and wooden parrot. This seems to work as he pauses long enough to share that Polly is actually a good luck charm that has helped him throughout the years. But at that moment, the wooden bird falls from Lucas's shoulder. Although Scourge quickly retrieves it from the sand, Lucas sees this as a bad omen. Officer Vice immediately proves him right, snatching the figurine from Scourge and exchanging a venomous greeting with Fierro. He tosses the wooden parrot back onto the ground and pulls the baton from Lucas's hand, breaking it open. Inside is a black gemstone and parchment with some dark incantation marked by the Eldritch Occult, what Vice claims is the most dangerous faction in the Isles. He shackles Lucas before he and Dobbs escort the criminal back to their boat. The Bugbear turns to the group one last time, thanking them for their help and promising to share their heroic deeds with the rest of the Steel Ring. With the boat races officially concluded and the Zephyr Wharf investigation resolved, the party is invited once more to join their lizard folk companions. They climb aboard a large cooking raft where tribal halflings are roasting a skewered constrictor snake above a stone bowl filled with hot coals. They push off from the docks and listen to the tales of their primal refuge companions, having completed yet another adventure of their own, here in the Broken Chain.